Good day everyone, my name is Vannaka and welcome to this video. Today I want to talk about the Ice Giant boss, which may possibly become the newest free-to-play boss. Now what are my thoughts about this? Before I start though, I really want to make clear that I've only made this video for fun. I am not specifically asking for this content to be reality, but I simply love to theorize about stuff like this. Alright then, so in this video I'm going to discuss the following topics. First of all, why this boss? Then, where and how to get access to the boss, how to fight the boss drop table, and then my final judgment. So, as you all know, there are 4 types of giant in RuneScape. We have got hill giants, moss giants, ice giants, and fire giants, but of course the fire giants are members only. Currently, 2 of them have a boss variant. The hill giants have Obor, and the moss giants have Bryophita. Now, if you ask me, it would make sense if we completed the full cycle, giving the ice giants and fire giants a boss too. Now, since fire giants are member creatures, its boss will obviously be member too, so we don't have to focus on that too much in this video, but guess what? Ice giants are free to play. I think it would be really cool if free to play got an ice giant boss. It should also be harder to kill than the existing 2 bosses. And just like the others, I believe it should have its own unique drop too. But of course, this unique drop shouldn't be too overpowered, so I will keep that in mind. Okay, so if there's going to be an ice giant boss, it is going to need a lair to kill it. The ice giants can be found on 2 locations in free-to-play. One of them being the Asgardian Ice Dungeon, and the second one is in level 44 Wilderness. Now, it would be really cool to have a boss like that in Deep Wildy, but it doesn't really make sense to be honest, because hill giants and moss giants can be found in the wilderness too, but have their lairs located somewhere else. So let's pretend the boss lair is going to be in the Asgardian Ice Dungeon. Then the next question is, how will players get access? Well, I think it should be pretty straightforward. Use the same system that is already being used for hill and moss giants. So you should kill ice giants to obtain a frozen key, which will be enough for 1 boss kill. And the drop rate should be about 1 in 150, just like moss giants, or maybe a little bit more rare. Well, this is going to be quite interesting. Let's talk about the boss himself for a little bit. I've given the ice giant boss stats that are inspired by the hill giant and the moss giant boss. Now obviously this boss is going to be a little bit stronger because it's harder to kill. Now sadly enough I couldn't come up with a name for the boss, so for this video I'm just gonna call him Anthony. Okay, so his combat level is 153, its hit points 140, you can't get poison from him, he attacks with melee and with range, and its max hit is 24 and 28 with the special attack. So I was thinking about the special attack, that every time the boss stamps on the floor, it makes ice spikes come off the ceiling, and you have to dodge the spikes to avoid damage, and if you get hit, it can deal up to 28 damage. And like I said before, the boss should be a bit more of a challenge than the other 2, since ice giants are also stronger than moss and hill giants. It needs to be really hard to actually kill him in free to play. Now the drop table is probably what everyone is waiting for, and I understand that because we all kill bosses for their loots, right? So let me show you the drop table that I came up with. And also here, I have taken a look at the other boss drop tables first, to not make it too overpowered, but at the same time add some different stuff. Its always drops should be the same as the other bosses, which is big bones and a beginner clue scroll. I'm not gonna change anything about that. Then weapons and armor wise, I think a rune warhammer would be really cool to have as a drop because it is no meta in free to play, but the only way to get it currently is by training your smithing to like 97 or whatever, so it would be really cool to have this access to a new rune weapon. I don't even know if he will actually use it, but that still would be pretty cool. Also a rune mace isn't that spectacular, you can buy that in the Champions Guild. A rune sword, the same story. Rune full helm is dropped by ogresses and greater demons, so no problem at all. Rune chain body, nothing special. Rune plate legs and rune plate skirt are very base drops as well, so I don't think there's anything that could really go wrong with this. And then the same goes for the runes and ammunition. I've taken a look at all the rune drops that the other bosses drop, and I've just increased the number a little bit. So 150 cosmic runes or law, nature, death. 300 chaos runes, because you can see that from all the bosses that they drop more chaos runes than other kinds of runes. And then 150 element arrows, because that's a drop that all the other bosses have on their table as well. So the other drop table is going to be a bit more interesting. If we start off with the coins, which is quite normal, then you can get 15 to 20k. Then there's also a frozen key, just like the other bosses, you can get a key to kill him again. 3 rune bars, 5 uncut rubies or diamonds, and then a new drop, mithril ore. The regular ice giant drops mithril ore, so I was like, why not, copy this to the boss and just give 50 instead of 1. I mean, it's a boss after all. And then we go to chocolate dust, and I think this is a really interesting one because I don't know if you guys know this, but if you are a free-to-play Iron Man of any kind, the only way to obtain chocolate dust in free-to-play is by going to the cooking guild, picking up a chocolate dust and hopping worlds. I mean, that is not how you would want to go and do that, so it would be amazing to actually kill this boss, get 100 chocolate dust, so you can make yourself energy potions without having to hop all the time. But it also wouldn't really change a meta because, if you really want to go for 100 chocolate dust, you can probably get it quicker by hopping. So that is kind of what I'm trying to say here, to make it a little bit more easy or convenient. That's maybe the good word for it. Then also for rune essence, that's the same story. It's like giving more ways to obtain certain items in free-to-play, because currently you can mine rune essence yourself, which most people do. You can also kill minotaurs, anku, or other kinds of creatures in that, but it's not really that great. And it would be cool to actually kill a boss and then having a chance of getting some essence, so you're like, oh cool, I got 500 rune essence, I can train a little bit of my rune crafting again. So it's nothing more than that, but it's just a good way to provide you with some nice essence. And then last but not least, we got the unique drops. And in my opinion, every boss needs a unique loot, because otherwise it is not really worth killing the boss, wouldn't it? It wouldn't be special otherwise. So I've been thinking, what could we come up with that actually makes sense and is not too overpowered? So I came up with 2 ideas, one of them being the frozen ring and a frozen bow. So let's talk about the frozen ring a little bit. Free-to-play currently only has 1 ring that has an actual use, being the Ring of Forging. But even this ring has no stat bonuses and crumbles to dust after a while. Now I believe that in order to balance free-to-play, it will need at least 1 ring that can be seen as a meta, because currently it is all completely cosmetic. But of course we have to keep in mind that it shouldn't become too overpowered. So the stats that I had in mind for this ring are magic offense +2 and magic defense +1. Now I'm not talking about the magic damage here, so don't worry, it will not increase max hits or anything. It will only make you slightly more accurate with magic, because if you think about it, the current max magic bonus in free-to-play is only +27, which is actually quite pathetic. And in addition to that, I really think that a teleport would fit this ring. I've been looking at the free-to-play map and I checked every single teleport option. Now I realized that there's a huge section of the free-to-play game that doesn't offer a teleport option, which is unfortunate. Now since we are killing ice giants, it would be great to receive a drop that helps you a hand in getting there faster. So I was thinking, how about an Asgardian ice cave teleport? I've checked how this would affect both free-to-play and pay-to-play players, and there shouldn't be anything to worry about, to be honest. The only advantage in free-to-play is that you can get to the ice giants a little bit faster, and there's nothing else nearby that you can profit from, except from maybe getting to the Corsair Cove a little quicker, but it doesn't really change any skill training meta or whatever. Now in pay-to-play you will be able to go to the Scalloped Wyverns a little quicker, but this wouldn't change much since members already have many teleports options close to this place. Think about fairy rings or house teleports. And in member worlds this ring would be way too weak to actually use, so the question is, do people want to give up an inventory slot to bring the useless ring? Now I've also thought about the amount of times you can teleport. It is not an infinite source of teleports, no. Each time you teleport with the ring, it will melt a little bit, and I think it's a good idea to give it a maximum of 8 charges, and for every ice warrior or giant you kill, it will recharge 1 teleport. And this will force you to go inside the cave every now and then to recharge it instead of doing something else, which makes it not so overpowered. Then, my second idea is a new bow in free-to-play, but this bow will have the exact same stats as a maple short bow, so it doesn't change any meta in free-to-play. However, the frozen bow will have a special effect in PvM only. Each time an arrow is fired, there is a 5% chance of stunning the opponent for 5 seconds. Now this could be useful when you're running around when killing bosses, or maybe it could be useful somewhere else. Maybe it wouldn't even a bad idea if PKers were able to use it, but I am not a PKer, so I can't really judge about that. I don't know how much that will change PKing in free-to-play. The reason why I think a frozen bow is a good idea is because I believe there are special weapons for magic and melee in free-to-play, but not for range, and this would change it. And it would also increase the risk fighting in PvP, because even though it shares the same bonuses as a 𝗕𝗄𝘁𝘀𝗀, people simply like to do risk fighting, and also if the special attack doesn't work when PKing, it will still not change a thing, because it's still the same stats as a 𝗕𝗄𝘁𝘀𝘀. Alright then. Honestly, I think it would be great if free-to-play had an Ice Giant boss, because it would complete the boss cycle for giants. And of course, we do have to keep in mind that it shouldn't become too overpowered, but that is why I need you guys, because everything I just told you is only what I think. So my question to you is, what do you think about a possible Ice Giant boss in free-to-play? And do you like my suggested unique drops, or do you have a better idea? I would love to hear more. Well, that is going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed it, then it would be great if you could hit that thumbs up button for me, or subscribe to the channel if you never want to miss a video. Also, if you have any video suggestions for me, feel free to share. My plan is to release a video every week. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.